Valency of an electron, valency of an element is the combining capacity of an element. Valency is also number of unpaired electrons on an atom. Now, let me write the shell structure very quickly and orbital structure. I am going to start this also. The orbital structure of this molecule and the need for the orbital structure also. Supposing I write hydrogen here, I write only one K shell. It is going to be 1s1. If it is going to be helium, it is going to be 2 electrons in the K shell. It is going to be 1s2. Lithium, third element in the periodic table. Atomic number is given. For some more time, I will be writing continuously. Please copy down. Now, I will just give a break and then spend time for the explanation. This is going to be 2, 1. 2 in the K shell and L in this. This is going to be 1s2 and 2s1. I will jump to fluorine straight away, 9, atomic number 9. So, the electronic configuration is going to be 2, 7. And this is going to be 1s2, 2s2 and 2p5. When you add the numbers and the subscript, they are the electrons. And 5 plus 2 plus 2 will give total number of electrons present in the fluorine, and that accounts for the atomic number also. Atomic number also. Write the electronic configuration. Now, what is the need for orbital structure? What is the need for orbital structure? I am able to know the valency is 1 in the case of the fluorine. Why? Because it requires one more electron to complete the octet configuration, isn't it? To get the octet configuration, it is going to be just one more electron. To get, in the case of sodium, let me write sodium. Atomic number is 11. Therefore, it is going to be 281. And to get the octet configuration, I have to shell out this particular single electron, isn't it? Now, sodium has 2 options. You have already studied 281. How does sodium get the octet configuration? By losing 1 electron. Therefore, sodium gets Na plus ion. Or, what is the other option? I could have added 7 electrons and sodium should have got 7 negative charges. Sodium negative charges. Both of them involve energy. In terms of energy consideration, energy required to remove 1 electron is easy rather than energy involved in adding 7 electrons. You cannot, maximum you can add only 3 electrons. Beyond addition of 3 electrons, it becomes difficult. Addition of 4th electron is difficult. Addition of 5th electron, 6th electron, we have no idea. We have no ions containing xF5 minus, x6 minus, x7 minus, no. Because there is going to be repulsion between the electron. Repulsion between the electron, isn't it? At the same time, I am able to remove 1 electron. And what is the, are you not getting octet configuration? Yes. This also gets octet configuration, but energy involved in this is going to be much greater. That is the reason why sodium, note down, make a note of, make a note. You should be writing continuously. You should be writing continuously. This is going to be, that is why sodium is considered as electropositive element. Electropositive element. Let me take chlorine. Let me take chlorine. 17. Therefore, 287, sorry. 287. Take chlorine. 287. I can get, by removing 7 electrons the last shell, chlorine can get 7 positive charges. By adding 1 electron the last shell, chlorine can get this. And what is the configuration of chlorine? 7 plus here, 28. What is the configuration of this? 28. I can generate a question. Both of them is possible because both of them give octet configuration. Attainment of octet 7 plus is much more easier than this. Attainment of octet by this is going to be much more easier than that. None of the above. We know the answer. What is the answer here? The second option is going to be chlorine always prefers to accept an electron to complete the octet configuration. Why is it so? Why is it so? Energy considerations, energy involved in removing 7 electron is difficult. You can remove 1 electron, 2 electron or 3 electron maximum. Removal of 4th electron very rarely you are able to see, not in ionic compound. You are able to see the positive charge, 4 positive charge in terms of the oxidation number, oxidation state. An element cannot lose 4 electrons straight away to form 4 plus, no, it's very difficult. If that is so, removal of 5th electron, removal of 6th electron, 7th electron is going to be very difficult here, very difficult here. Yes. Now tell me, therefore, chlorine always prefers to accept electron and form a negative charge. Therefore, chlorine is an example of electronegative element. Now you know the definition of what is an electropositive element and what is an electronegative element. Tamini chalo. Yes.
The electropositive element is it can accept an electron.
No, they do donate electrons and form a positive charge. And electronegative elements always try to accept electron and form a negative charge. Good, very good. Have you taken down that? Electropositive elements lose electrons and electronegative elements gain electrons. Gain electrons. Gain electron. Now, what should be? Now the next question is this: what type of elements? Shall I ask you? What type of elements will behave like electropositive elements? Among the, you have got the entire array of the elements, the entire periodic elements. Classify them electropositive elements and electronegative elements. The job is very easy. The left hand side of the periodic table are all electropositive elements. Right hand side of the periodic table are all electronegative elements. Now why is it so? What is the general underlying concept involved in that? All? Why all metals are electropositive? Wait, I'll come back to you. You are next one. Let him complete. Why metals are electropositive?
Because in their valence shell, they have enough electrons to give. It's easier for them to give the electrons rather than take electrons.
Good, very good.
They have less than 4 electrons.
Wonderful. The number is 4. Either you should have more than 4 or less than 4, not 4. I am classifying the elements 2 categories having more than 4 electrons, the last shell, or less than 4 electrons. The metals, all of them, the number of electrons is 1, alkali metals. The number of electrons, the last shell is 2, group 2 metals. What are the group 2 metals known as? Alkaline earth metals. Isn't it? You have heard of it? You have heard of it? Can you name them? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. Make a note of it. Group 2, alkaline earth metals: beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium. Then we are going to switch over to group 13, not group 3, group 13. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. First time you are hearing it. Boron, aluminium, all of us know. Gallium, you know the characteristic feature of gallium? It's yet another liquid metal at room temperature besides mercury. You know mercury is a liquid metal. Gallium is also yet another liquid metal at room temperature. All the metals are solids excepting mercury and gallium. Indium and thallium, THALIUM, thallium. They are all metals, group 13. And you have got 3 electrons. And second group have got 2 electrons. Now all of them are electropositive elements because they have got 1 electron, 2 electron and 3 electron. It's easy to remove these 1, 2, 3 electron to get the octet configuration. Now let me come back to elements having 5 electrons in the last shell, 6 electrons in the last shell and 7 electrons in the last shell. We have already written nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Arsenic, AS. Group 15, group 16, group 17, group 17, isn't it? Have we not seen group 15 today? We didn't see. Now only we are seeing. What are group 15? Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. Write it. Group 15. It's there on the board. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, stibnum. Latin word is stibnum. Antimony, Sb. Bismuth. Group 16.
Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium.
Wonderful. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. Isn't it? Isn't it? Thambi, we saw it today. Oxygen, learned it something? Under what relevance we learned oxygen, sulfur? Wait. Under what relevance we learned oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium? Why did you mention those elements today? Wait. Thambi, what is the relevance under which we mention oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium? Below some relevance we study. Neighbor. Huh? Reactivity. Hydrogen. That is has acid strength. Hydrogen, acid strength. Hydrogen ion concentration, Ka value. We just mentioned the Ka value increases. Which is going to be the strongest acid? Hydrogen telluride. Which is the weakest acid? Water. Water is the weakest acid. Water is neutral to litmus. Water is the only compound which is neutral oxide in that group. All the other oxides, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen telluride, they turn blue litmus paper red. How would you distinguish? Ordinary simple question for the board examination. How would you distinguish water and hydrogen sulfide? I drink and see, sir. I dissolve hydrogen sulfide in water and you drink and tell me. Whenever you are asked to identify a test, you have to chemical test. One bottle contains water, the other bottle contains alcohol. How will you distinguish? Chemical. You have to see the chemical method. So one test to distinguish water and hydrogen sulfide. Water is neutral to litmus. Water is neutral to litmus. It's a neutral oxide. Hydrogen sulfide is acidic to litmus. What does that mean? Acidic to litmus. It turns blue litmus paper red. And rest of it also. All the other oxides are going to be acidic. There is a peculiar property of this. Peculiar property. Okay? Anomalous behavior. You have studied this periodic table. Anomalous properties of group period, second period elements from the rest of the elements. Anomalous properties. Properties are entirely different. Hydride of oxygen is neutral to litmus. The rest of it are going to be acidic to litmus. That apart. And we know this is going to be fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine here. Group 17 elements. And all these three elements are called electronegative elements. I will give you the 5 atomic numbers. And one of them is going to be electronegative. Yes, how would you find out? Neighbor. Yes. Given the atomic number, do you get my question? I give you 4 atomic numbers and one of them is going to be electropositive. And how would you identify from the atomic number that given element is going to be electropositive or electronegative?
So again write the electronic.
Good, very good. You write the electronic configuration and then after.
The last shell electrons.
Wonderful. Yes.
About it.
Wonderful. That's it. Write the electronic configuration and find out whether you have got more than 4 or less than 4. If it has got more than 4, it is electronegative element. If it is less than 4, it is going to be electropositive. That is the simplest way of identifying an element from the atomic number. Wonderful. Therefore, yes. Now we know. Then immediately one question is there disturbing you all along. What about the elements having 4 electrons in the outermost shell? He has got a question, doubt. Yeah, please.
If the atomic number is 57, atomic number is 57 or so.
57.
Something like that. You keep doing valence.
Yes, wonderful. I am coming to that point only. If you have an atomic number 57, sir, how do I write? Given the atomic number, how do I write the electron shell structure? Only when you know the shell structure, you will know number of electrons in the last shell. Accordingly, you try to classify more than 4, less than 4. Let us not come to the 4 electron. 4 electron, they are the compounds which can form this. How do I write the shell structure? Yes, fluorine, bromine and iodine. Atomic number of, first of all, how do I guess the atomic number? That is also important. Unless you know the atomic number, is it possible for me to write the structure? No. How do I write? Now for that, the first period, second period, third period, fourth period, sixth period, I come to the structure of the periodic table. How many elements? The number of elements are given in the bracket. First period has got only 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. The second period has got 8 elements. 8 elements, 18 elements, 32 elements. Incomplete. Let's say incomplete. Maximum it can get 32. Now, these are the magic numbers. Yes, if you remember the 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32, from this I can write the atomic number of any element provided I know the group and the period. Let me take group 17. Group 17. I must know atomic number of fluorine is 9. Sir, I do not know. Lastly, the first 9, 10 elements you should know. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, boron, carbon, beryllium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Now, there are going to be 8 elements in the second period. This is the 9th element. Okay? And from here to this, I have to cross another 8 more. Now, chlorine is supposed to be the 8th element from fluorine here. So, add 8 here, the atomic number 17. I shall repeat once again. Chlorine happens to be the 8th element from fluorine. Supposing you start from here 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. This becomes 8th element. In between how many elements? 8 elements. So add 8 and 17. And this is the 18th element from chlorine because there are 18 elements. So you are supposed to add 18 here and 35 is going to be the atomic number. And this is again the 18th element and therefore add 18 here. This is 53 here. Astatine, make a note of it, astatine, this is the 32nd element because of the F block elements, lanthanides and actinides, isn't it? Lanthanides and actinides, this is going to be the 32nd element here. So add 32, if you add 32, it becomes 85, Now, having this, let me write, I know I am able to write the electronic configuration 2,7. Now all the elements should have 7 electrons. What is the difference here? 8 here. Where do I insert 8 here? 2, 7. What is the difference? Is 18 here. Where do I insert 18 here? 2, 8, 18, 7 here. And what is going to be the difference here? 18 here. Where do I put 18? The last but one shell here. So the electronic configuration 2, 8, 18, 18, 7. And what is going to be the difference here? 32. Where do you put the 32? The shell wherein it can accommodate maximum 32. The first shell can accommodate 2n square. The first shell can accommodate 2 electron, second shell 8 electron, third shell maximum is 18 electron, the fourth shell can accommodate 32 electron. Therefore, I can put the 32 here. Therefore, the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 18, 32, 18. No 8, just 7. That's the difference is 7, 32. Difference is 32. In fact, I don't need this atomic number at all. I don't need this atomic number. If I know the electronic configuration of the first element, if I know the difference between these two, whether it is 8th element or 8th element, 18th element, I insert that 8 or 18 or 32 in the respective shell. So that is the electronic configuration of halogens. And all of them have got 7 electrons in the last shell. Yes, as per this. Shall we write the electronic configuration of group 16 element without knowing the atomic number? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. Now let us practice the atomic number also. Practice. Please write the atomic number. Polonium. Polonium is going to be the element, radioactive element in the last period. Let's see how many of you are able to write the atomic number. Learning concept is there, application of the concept is more important. This is what is being asked in the examination. Atomic number of oxygen is 8. And that is the element present in the second period, third period, fourth period, fifth period. I told you should know the period in the group also. And 8 plus 8, 16. 16 plus 18. 1 electron less than this. We have already written, answer is on the board. Bromine is 35. It must be oxygen. This must be the previous element 34. And you know the tellurium. Tellurium, its previous element. Therefore, it is going to be 52 here. And this is going to be 84 here. 34, sorry, 34.
Sir, no, sir, selenium 34, tellurium.
Selenium is 34, and this is going to be 52. Now, electronic configuration 26, 286, 28, 18, 6, 8, 18, 18, 6, 8, 18, 32. That's all. Very simple. Chemistry is very easy, isn't it? Shall I give you one more example? Writing the electronic configuration of the elements. You have copied it? Alkali metals. Write all the alkali metals, write the atomic numbers, write the electronic configuration of alkali metals. Raise your hand. Let's say who is going to do it first. First of all, what are the alkali metals? I know alkali metals are X, Y, and Z. No. Actual alkali metals. Who knows the answer? Alkali metals correctly down the period, down the group. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium is radioactive. How many of you are waiting for the atomic number of lithium? Third, 3. 3 plus 8. 11 plus 8. No, you should not add 18 here. We have to be very careful. Element on the right hand side, you have added 18. Because you should know this is the second period. 8 elements. 8 elements. 18 elements, 18 elements, and 32 elements. This is going to be incomplete. Please note the second period has got only 18 elements. After that, group 3, because of the D block elements, you start adding another 18 more, isn't it? You have to be very careful. Now, potassium, how many elements are there in this period? 8 elements. From sodium, this is going to be the 8th element. Now, potassium is the starting point. After potassium, how many elements are there? 18 elements. So, from sodium to potassium, how many elements are there in between? 8. Therefore, potassium is the 8th element from sodium. That is why you have to add 8, 19. You have to be very careful. You shouldn't have added 18 there. Now, from this, it's easy. How many elements are there? 18 elements are there. Therefore, isn't it 18th element from this potassium here? Add 18 here, 37. Add 18 here, 65. Add 32 here, 55. Electronic configuration. You have finished? How many of you have finished electronic configuration? Good, good. Others. Yeah, others also. Let's see how many of you have written it correctly. Finished? The electron, I will initiate. Most of you have got the starting problem. 2, 1. And what is the difference? 8. 2, 8, 1. 2, 8, 8, 1. 2, 8, 18, 8, 1. 2, 8, 18, 18, 8, 1. 2, 8, 18, 32, 18. This is newly added. This is newly added. This is called penultimate shell. Last shell, last but one shell, penultimate shell, pre-penultimate shell, last but two. Make a note of it. Last shell, penultimate shell, and pre-penultimate shell. I can ask you, how many electrons are there in the pre-penultimate shell of sodium? 2, that's all. Why were you hesitating? You could have also answered it, isn't it? No? Yes. You missed the opportunity. I can ask you, how many electrons are there in the pre-penultimate shell of cesium? Cesium, 18, 18, 18. That could be one question. Previous year, AAAA question. This is AAAA question. Very simple question, isn't it? Don't you think we are able to answer this question? This is the electronic configuration. I'll ask you another question. Based on the electronic configuration, you have the answer in your notebook. Name 2 elements which differ in electronic configuration among halogens. Name 2 elements which differ in electronic configuration among halogens. How could they differ? All of them have got the same number of electrons. The last shell is same, 7, 7, 7, 7. Now please look at the answer, electronic configuration. Tell me which 2 elements differ in the general electronic configuration of halogens. Whereas here you don't see that. I'll ask you one question. Name one element among the alkali metals which differ from the rest of the metals in terms of electronic configuration. Lithium. Good. Why lithium? Penultimate shell has no this. Now what was the electronic configuration here? 2, 7 here. This is going to be 2, 8, 7 here. This is going to be 2, 8, 18, 7 here. In the case here, 2, 8, 18, 18, 7 here. Name one element, name only one element which differs from the rest of the elements in terms of the electronic configuration. It is fluorine only, it is chlorine only, it is bromine only, it is iodine only, it could be bromine and chlorine, it could be fluorine and chlorine. Multiple answer, multiple choice question. Name one element, it's an IIT question. Write it. Name one element which differs in the electronic configuration. Name one element, name one halogen which differs in the electronic configuration. Which differs in the electronic configuration. What is that? What is that? Fluorine. Good. Why fluorine? No 8 electrons, the penultimate shell. Good. Next one. Chlorine. No 18 electrons in the penultimate shell. No, name 2 elements which have got similar electrons in terms of penultimate shell, bromine and iodine. It's because of this, there are certain differences in the properties of bromine and iodine. They differ from the rest of the other 2 elements. Fluorine differs from the rest of the element because there is no 8 electron in the penultimate shell. Anomalous behavior. Anomalous behavior is because of the electronic configuration. Is that clear to you? Therefore, this differs because there is no 8 electron in the penultimate shell. There is no 18 electrons here in these 2 cases. Therefore, they are different. And these 2, in fact, they have similar properties because they have the last 7 electrons in the last shell. They have got 18 electrons in the penultimate shell. 18 electrons. There is a similarity. That's the reason why bromine and iodine react similarly. They have got similar chemical properties. The chemical properties are attributed to that. Maybe I have a question, maybe I will stop with this, and the answer is, I am going to put the answer here. Ultimately, I am going to answer his question. Now you would have understood by now, isn't it? Given the atomic number, that was your question. How do I write the electronic configuration, shell structure? That is very important. Unless you know that, how do you identify whether it has got more than 4 or less than 4? Isn't it? Why do I want to find out more than 4 or less than 4? What is the context under which you want to write this?
Check whether it is electronegative or
Wonderful. Electronegative or electropositive. Good. Now tell me atomic numbers. Tell me whether it is electropositive element or electronegative element or the number of electrons. Write the electronic configuration. I know you are waiting for the atomic number. I have already given it on the board. What should be the electronic configuration of iron? 2, 8, 8, 8. No, I am asking. 2, 8. I saw this answer. 2, 8. 8, 8. Yeah, 8 3s are 24, 24 plus 2, 26. Right. Yeah, the sum is right. Wonderful. How many of you have written this? See whether it follows the 2 rules that we have used. Yes. The last shell has not exceeded 8. Yes. The last but one also has not exceeded 18. And of course, the second shall have maximum. Now, he says something else. So, no, what is the answer? What is the answer you have written? You said something 14 2.
I didn't say.
Ah.
So you said penultimate shell.
Okay, what did you write?
2, 8, 10, 6.
Say, yeah, put any number, he says. He says 2, 8, 9, 7. Last shell has not exceeded 8, penultimate shell also has not exceeded 8. Therefore, 2, 8, 10, 6. We follow the 2 rules. 2, 8, 11, 5. Wait, I have to come. 2, 8, 12, 4. 2, 8, 13, 3. 14 2 have written, some of you have written, but without knowing the explanation. 2, 8, 15 1 also you can write, because the last shell has not exceeded 18 and the penultimate shell also. And have we not followed the rules, 2 rules here? Yes. All of them must be right. I can rule out the first one. It has octet. If it is an octet, then it should be similar to inert gases. It should be unreactive. Iron should not have shouldn't have undergone rust formation. Iron article, you just keep it, especially here the seashore, it gets rusted immediately within a week, brown coating. Iron is highly reactive. Then definitely this particular structure is ruled out, because having 8 electrons, the last shell belongs to rare gases, excepting helium. Therefore, and all the others are right. How many of you written 2, 8, 14, 2? For information, Fe, Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus, all of them have got unpaired electrons. Okay. Would you like to say something? Yes. Yeah. Aufbau principle, she is again introducing a new concept. Okay. Anyhow, this is a question for you. You have to get the answer before we start our next class on Sunday. You have an answer right now. Yeah, please.
Different energy shells, different shells has different energy levels.
Good.
So the electrons will prefer the lower energy level.
So what?
So the energy levels are calculated, are seen by that, energy that S and the 2's. That in the electronic configuration we get 1s and 2s and 2p's.
In other words, In other words, you should know the electronic configuration in terms of the shells. You should also know the electronic configuration in terms of the orbitals. I told you what is the need for using the orbital structure, and here is the answer here. If you are going to write the orbital structure of iron 26 in terms of 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, etc., now you will come to a place wherein the electronic configuration of this